Welcome to the Rocky Road Podcast, brought to you by Rockbusters, with your host, Dennis Wager. Dennis is a best-selling author and an expert in demolition, rock, and concrete breaking, as well as a professional blaster. He is also president of Rockbusters Incorporated, along with his son, Brian. On the podcast, you'll hear exciting stories of how these challenge types of rock and concrete jobs are done. You learn about the uses of expanding grout and explosive devices. But furthermore, you'll hear about some of the hurdles and struggles entrepreneurs and business owners have had along the way, how they got started, and how they broke through the obstacles and found the path to success. Along with that, some insight for young people and people wanting to get into the industry. So listen in. I hope you enjoy the show. Now, here's Dennis Wager.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I want to welcome our guest today, Dan Costello from Costello Dismantling in Boston, Massachusetts. Morning, Dan. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Nice to see you, Dennis.
Yeah.
Good to be here with you.
Yeah, same to you. We're actually good friends from a long time ago. It's probably been, what do you think, 20 some odd years, 25 years, something like that?
Been close to 20 years.
20.
We both served on the board of directors of the National Demolitions Association at the same time. We were fellow board members and have remained in contact since then. So it was a great opportunity to form that type of relationship, and the NDA is the type of association where those things happen quite regularly, and good to be associated with that and to have been associated with you for so many years.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. I feel the same too, and I've gotten so much out of the association, and it really, has been like a family type of feel. People are very happy to step up and help one another and work together and offer advice. And that's
it's been great, and you not only for the day-to-day running of your business, but you make lifelong friends and lifelong associations that are so valuable and important and rewarding.
I agree. And then also one of the big things I took away for myself was the fact that, when I was, in the first few years of the demolition business, you would go to job meetings and site visits and you would see your competitors there, but no one would talk to one another. Nobody would ever, say, hey, let's go have a coffee or lunch or something like that and talk and, kind of work together. Everybody was like all standoffish and just all, for them. I don't want to say for themselves, but they're looking out for themselves. Whereas it's kind of like I took it as you can step out of the box and then all of a sudden deal with a community of people that, a lot of them are much bigger companies and have done much bigger, more challenging jobs. And since they're not in your area, they're happy to share their knowledge and experiences with you. So that was very, very valuable for me.
Yeah, and I think everybody's commitment there in that venue is to better the industry, to share what information there is and to provide what help you can to all the industry members to make that a better environment for us all to work across the country, and as you expand your relationships across the world with international demolition associations. So it's a great experience and a great learning experience of meeting people, and you find out how you find out what the best qualities are of being a good demolition contractor by dealing with the best and the most prominent contractors around the country and having the commitment established in that venue to make the industry the best that it can be. So It's been very rewarding to me in my business conduct, let's say, in my corporate development, to try to have us embody those ideals that we speak about, and to try to be an example of good demolition contractor.
Right. And yeah, that's exactly it. So, I mean, you have, other people and other companies that you can look up to and kind of model after the best practices that you like and want to adopt for your own company. And you can also offer that to other people looking up to you and just kind of pay it forward, which I really like to do as well.
Yeah, exactly. You get a lot of recognition for that. I think it's clearly can separate you from other competitors. There are a lot of people that do demolition work, and maybe not all of them can call themselves professional demolition contractors, but
Right.
we try to strive for that all the time.
Right. And then you also served on the sponsorship or scholarship committee as well, right?
Yeah, I continued. I've been on committees for the NDA since the I think I started on the board in 2003 or 4 in that time frame,
Mm-hmm.
and I've maintained a board position since then. Uh, I now serve on the awards committee. I'm a past chairman of that committee, and we recognize outstanding achievement both in the industry through the Hall of Fame Lifetime Achievement Awards uh, and Excellence Awards, but we also, a big part of what we do is award scholarships to students who, in many cases, are connected to the demolition companies that are members of the NDA.
Mm-hmm.
And they have parents or relatives that work for demolition contractors that are our members. And we get some really wonderfully qualified young men and women that we award scholarships to help with their education. And in many cases, we look in many cases for opportunities where some of these young people may want to study engineering or structural engineering, civil engineering, with an eye towards working in the demolition industry, and we certainly try to encourage that through our scholarship awards. So uh, it's almost 20 years I've been involved doing that, and sometimes I feel like the old man of the community, but
Well, that's okay.
it's fun to be part of it,
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
continue to do.
Exactly. No, I think it's so important to
I
kind of
also
help.
serve on I'm a judge on the World Demolition Awards and have been for a number of years, where we're a group of 10 judges from around the world, all in the demolition industry, and we we judge submittals of different categories of demolition work, and every year have a gala event where the winners of uh, that submittal process are awarded their their trophies, and that's quite an exciting and again a rewarding opportunity to meet people from around the world who do some really great demolition work.
That's exciting. So, what kind of
So
jobs
we're
would they
always
be?
learning.
Where would they? How would they get involved, or how would that look?
Well, we have contestants from every continent, uh, from all of Europe, from England, from all of Europe. We have submittals of project studies, case studies of projects. South Africa, there's a contractor in South Africa who's just unbelievable. Jet contracting down there, they do explosive work and some of the toughest, tightest demo projects you could ever imagine. They're a real outstanding company for the work they do, but also the social responsibility that they have working and living in South Africa.
Interesting. So
We have some great, yeah.
What would the typical kind of job be? Is it like a big projects, or is it more of the just a specialized?
They do big explosive projects. They take great, some big buildings, and in one case, a building in downtown Johannesburg that, honest to God, Dennis, was almost touching the building next door, and they shot it, and it came down perfectly, but it was with uh, the utmost of care and preparation and execution that they were able to do it.
Interesting.
And they're great people.
So kind of one of those sleepless nights before you press the button.
Yeah, sleepless 6 months, I think, before on that
I get
job.
that. I get that too. It's just, I have this policy, this self-imposed policy now. I take an extra minute before I press the button, and it's just like nobody told me that I had to, but like we're obliged to give or obligated to give the 2-minute warning. But before I give the 2-minute warning, I also just take a minute for myself to kind of catch my thoughts.
Yeah, to get ready mentally.
Mentally, exactly. And my concept around that is simply like, once you press the button, there's no taking it back. It's just like you can't unsay what you say, and you have every second before you press it to rethink it or check things or say, hey, wait a minute, what about this over here, that over there? But once you press it, you're committed. But prior to that, I put in this 1 minute just for kind of mental preparedness. You can always think about, did you check everything off? Is all your things ready to go? You can always postpone the 2-minute warning inevitably, but you can't take back once you press the button. You're committed to that. So it's kind of like a lot of things.
I remember a story. It was 19. I remember the date because it was 1994, and it was my grandmother's 100th birthday. She was born in 1894.
Wow.
And we had a job. We were taking down a 325-foot brick smokestack at an industrial plant where we were working. We did a lot of work there, and we were using explosives to bring it down. And for Nana's 100th birthday, she was going to press the button.
Oh, how cool is that?
So when we were doing the countdown, she was nervous, and she says, "Oh, Daddy, help me!" And I think I almost broke her finger pushing on the thing. It was so tense and exciting.
Yeah. Especially she was thrilled though, eh?
So once it started going, it's the most exhilarating feeling you could imagine.
Yeah, I could just see the look on her face, like the same thought. So I hope it falls the right way.
Yeah. But she had a pretty good birthday present.
Yeah, that's so nice. It's nice to hear those kind of stories. And what about you? How did you get started in demolition?
I started soon after college. I was a political science major in college. And for a summer job, as I was getting out of school, I started working for a demolition company. And I didn't even know it at the time, but I started as a laborer and a truck driver. And next thing you know, I was working in the office, and I became fascinated with the business side of demolition and with the engineering. And there are so many different aspects of a business that go into demolition. It really encompasses such a wide focus that you need. You need obviously business skills, but you need a lot of math. You need a lot of engineering. You need to know metallurgy. There's no end to the things that you need to know to compile a good bid, a good estimate for a demolition project, and to be able to execute it successfully. So I was always intrigued with that and with the sort of the complexity of demolition. And I had been in the business for a number of years, and I finally decided that I better figure out the whys of what was going on, what I was doing. I was dealing with, these bids and customers that had big buildings to take down. I was dealing with banks and insurance companies and finance companies to maintain the business side of things for the company I was working for.
Okay.
And I went to work. I went to decided to go nights to get a master's of business degree.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
Good for you.
it was at a time when my youngest son was about a week old, and I started grad school at nights. And
Good.
my wife has been always so supportive and so helpful to put the business aspects of what we do. It's part of the family. It's another family member at the table, and it's that family business has been one that's been very rewarding and very good for us. But it's mainly because my wife was so supportive and signed into everything that was going on.
Yeah, I really
She
admire
still
that too. Yeah, I mean,
works
yeah,
side by side
you
every
have
day.
you have
Still,
a real family business. You have your wife Joan and both your kids, Mike and John. They're working with you, so that's exciting to see. There's a few of my other friends that have the same type of family businesses, and it's great. It's great to see. And now my son's just coming into the business with me too, and my daughter's doing some things. So it's nice as people evolve and grow to still work together. But how did you?
yeah, sure.
What was actually your first step into starting your own demo business? Like, did you buy a truck or an excavator, or how was the start
The
like?
fellow I had worked for, I loved him like a brother. It probably, um, who knows? I might still be working for him, but um, he died very suddenly of cancer. He
Hmm.
was 40, mid 44 years old, I think, at the time, and very suddenly he had a cancer diagnosis and very quickly succumbed to it.
Hmm.
And I knew that I didn't want to stay there and just do a job for the successes in that business. And at the same time, I knew about the NDA and certainly read Demolition Magazine all the time. And I knew that I could, and I would like to find a home with one of the other bigger contractors that we'd read about in that are members of the Demolition Association. But I also knew that I liked very much what I did, and I was confident in my own capabilities. And I said to Joan that I could go anywhere and find a job in demolition, but I'd really like to do something on my own. And she said, wherever you want to go and whatever you want to do, the boys and I are with you.
That's nice.
So with that, I started. I started on my own and went down and got a new Buick, and that was my first piece of equipment.
Yeah,
And from there, you know, now we just have a big fleet of stuff.
yeah. Like, what size is the company now? How many employees have you got, or pieces of equipment have you got?
Um, we have over 100 employees, and we do asbestos and demolition work. We work primarily all throughout the Northeast, all the New England states. We have jobs in just about every New England state currently. And um, I have a big fleet of excavators, high reach, couple of high reach machines. We use Volvos. We're almost exclusively a Volvo fleet. So I have a 750 Volvo high boom. I have a 480 high boom. We just got the Our most recent 480 excavator, I think I have 7 or 8 of them that we're running.
Nice.
And I've been very pleased with the Volvo product, and I've been very uh, happy with the way they particularly support the demolition industry. They have developed demolition models for their excavators that are they've studied our industry. They've talked to us. They've come out to our office many times, and it seems without fail they'll ask us things that we want in a machine.
Okay.
One of them was Bluetooth connections, so that the operators didn't have to pick up a phone and talk to somebody. And lo and behold, the next model excavator that came out had Bluetooth in it.
Oh, that's nice.
We've talked about different guarding scenarios. We've talked particularly about hydraulic situations where we can interchange all the attachments we use that all have different operating pressures and flow rates. And
Oh, okay.
Volvo was the first one to come out and say, push the button on your control panel and everything's taken care of.
Yeah, that's nice.
I used to spend 30 or 40,000 after buying a brand new machine to have it plumbed so that we could use it in the demolition industry.
So is it
Volvo does that for us now.
So like a cruncher has a different pressure than a shear, or is it like some need the extra circuit for the rotator, or
All the above. Shears
yeah.
operate at 5,000 pounds pressure. Hammers are at 2,500. Rotations are at 150 pounds, and they all have different flow rates. And it's all run by a computer panel that you press hammer and it
And a hammer.
plugs you into the hammer mode.
Yeah, you got to
And,
like that. That saves
really pretty
time.
neat.
Yeah, that saves time. And yeah, I think Volvo has, you see Volvos around a lot. I mean, even on our favorite show there, Gold Rush, Todd has
Yeah, I know.
nothing but Volvos. We know the story behind that.
Yeah, that's an amazing show. An amazing show for Volvo, too.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
get more exposure on that than you can imagine.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the inside joke was he'd went to Cat and the others and they all turned him down, and Volvo was the one that put their hand up and said, yes, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about in business, is just putting your hand up and saying, yes to things, I think, right? A lot of times you do that, you throw your hat. Yeah.
And taking advantage of it. So
yeah, you throw your hat over the fence and then figure out how to go do it.
Ian Harvey is the Volvo manager for that program, and Ian has retired recently, but I think he's still involved with Tony Beats and Parker and the rest of the crew. So
yeah, I don't think they would ever leave you. You'd have that relationship for life, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Ian presented me with a plaque and one of the bolts from one of the dredges that Tony Beats was putting together. So
cool.
I have that on my up on my showcase here with a bolt from Gold Rush.
Nice, that's cool. You gotta like that. I just wanted to talk a little bit too about the job that we did together down in the financial district with the expanding grout and the parkade, the parkade, that you demolished. And
yeah, we had a job a couple of I think it's a couple of years ago at this point, and a new Millennium Tower is going in downtown Boston. And in order to make way for it, there was a 5-story parking garage that had to be taken down. So we were contracted to take the parking garage down, which fit almost the complete footprint of the new building and of the lot space. including on one side, it was touching the adjacent building, about a 40-story building. And there were some high tensions between the two, between the property manager of the existing building and the construction manager of the new building.
Mm-hmm.
And we were sort of thrown in the middle because we had to take down the concrete parking garage completely, particularly in one area where there was a section of the foundation that was about 5 feet wide, 100 feet long, and 5 feet deep.
Yeah, that was quite a footing. And then the other situation was really like the neighboring building was really sensitive to any kind of vibrations. And
yeah, and it was touching it. We had been using hammers for some of the rest of the building, but this one we weren't allowed to. We couldn't use hammers because of potential vibrations. So we brought in the expanding grout.
Yeah.
And we had a local drilling contractor drill a hole spacing that you designed, Dennis, and we shipped in the grout and started filling the holes. And we were doing it over a long weekend, a holiday weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we finished filling all the holes Friday. There were hundreds of holes that we drilled. And we started on Friday, and I think we finished Saturday morning, and sort of covered everything over and left it. And we came back Tuesday morning because Monday was the day off to celebrate the holiday.
Yeah.
And we found it was all cracked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were able to then go in with an excavator with a bucket on it and sort of peel or comb the big foundation apart. And it was broken. It was certainly easier to pull out the pieces, and there was no hammering and no excess vibration that was needed to do that.
Yeah, so that's nice.
And
So
everybody was very happy. The occupied building was thrilled, and our people that we were working for were very thrilled as well because they didn't have to. There was no confrontations.
no lawsuits or neighbors upset.
Right, and it allowed us to get the job done. That was a critical area of the building that needed to be done, and
yeah, how would you say it was cost-wise compared to hammering? Would you have an idea? Like if you could have hammered it.
I it was I'd say it was very comparable.
Okay.
Because it was tough concrete, and we were able to beat it up. We were able to get it out of there pretty quickly.
So it's really just a choice, and the contractor knows about the grout or how to do it, and it's a choice of how you choose to do that type of work then in those situations.
Well, like in demolition, nothing's a straightforward
yeah
equation. There's always calculus with a whole bunch of variables, and when you look at this situation, it turned out to be the ideal example of how and why to use the expanding grout. And high sensitivity, very precise nature of the execution of the work, and environmentally it went fine.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really great to hear. I'm glad that worked well. I had I came down, worked with you guys there, as you know, and I had a great time. It's good to, I like to do those kind of hands-on things too. Just it helps me learn, helps me help other people like yourself at the same time. And
we were able to renew your enthusiasm for
yes,
big
exactly.
blocks.
With that call the next day, yes, it broke. yeah. And instead of the night before, Dennis, will this stuff actually work? I get that question. But anyways,
we'll
so that's,
believe in Dennis.
yeah, exactly. But no, that's awesome. I really appreciate you joining us today, Dan. It was really great to hear all of your story and the knowledge that you bring to the table. And, I also want to say thank you to all that you do to give back to the community and all the work that you've done with the NDA. And I don't think you maybe even realize the amount of lives that you've touched on and helped just by doing all that you do.
Well, it's fun to do it, and I get to meet great people like you along the road. So it's my pleasure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks. Well, you enjoy your day. And again, thanks for joining us. And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, it was fun.
Okay,
Thank
great,
you,
Dan.
Dennis.
You bet.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you would like to be a guest on a future episode and tell us your story, visit our website at www.rockbusters.com. If you have a project and would like to learn more about our products, or if you're interested in partnering with us and becoming a distributor, give us a call. Thanks again. We appreciate your support.